Hey everybody, welcome back to another 5-minute review.
That won't be quite 5 minutes. It will be probably a lot more.
So anyhow, before we dive into this book, big shout out to our sponsor once again, SpinWiz Comics at spinwizcomics.com. For those of you that don't know, now you know. SpinWiz Comics is a webcomic and indie comic discovery platform. It is free to download on both iOS and Android. SpinWiz Comics has over 86 independent publishers and well over 400 titles and climbing right now. Just about everything on the app is completely free to read. If you want to help support the creators, you are able to purchase a PDF of the book, as long as you're signed in to your app. 70% of the profits from the PDF go directly to the creators, and very soon, I believe starting next year sometime, SpinWiz Comics is going to have a print-on-demand service as well. So if you like the book and you got to have the book, and that's just about every good comic you read, you want to have a physical copy, and you'll be able to do that starting next year sometime. Right now, however, there is a reader loyalty reward program. For every page of comics you read, you get one entry into their giveaways, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. I don't know what they are now, but the only way to find out is to download the app, sign up, and start reading comics today. And here's just a quick look of what it will look like on your smart device. Best hashtag in comics right there. Hashtag creator-owned comics. But right now, let's dive into the book that we're talking about today. Atlantis Wasn't Built for Tourists, Issue 2. Like I said the other week, I am super behind and everything. I'm trying to get caught up like crazy. I must have read 20 comics yesterday, so I'm going to have a lot of these coming out. It also kind of made me really tired, and I slept for 14, 15 hours straight. So Atlantis Wasn't Built for Tourists was written and created by Eric. I am terrible with some of these last names. Eric Pelicki. Hopefully that was right. Interior art was Wendell Cavalenti. Colorist was Mike Dale. Letterer was Sean Lee. Cover artist was Casper Wingegard. Scout editor, of course, Mr. Charlie Stickney. And scout production is Joel Rodriguez. Now, in case you haven't been reading this, and if you haven't, why haven't you been reading this? This book is insane. So a protagonist got into this little town in the middle of nowhere, amply titled Atlantis. Now you get it. And he was practically run over by this girl in a pickup who we've learned now was not only drunk behind the wheel, but she was also stoned because they supposedly found open containers of beer and a marijuana cigarette in the ashtray. That's what the police were claiming. But this town is kind of sketchy. So we go into this, and our protagonist actually carried the girl from the scene of the accident, because they were in the middle of nowhere, 2 miles to the hospital and saved her life. So we've met most of the family now. The girl that he saved is actually the niece of the current sheriff. The prior sheriff, until he died of cancer, had married Rachel, the girl's mother. We learned there is a love triangle going on between former sheriff, and the mother of the girl. We also learned last issue that the town is infested with vampires, and that our protagonist Lucas is not a vampire. He is another creature entirely. Kind of like a reptilian badass. And it just, intensifies and, gets even worse. There's some not so friendly words between the sheriff and the mother. And of course, much like the Rambo stuff, the sheriff told him to get out of town, because it's a small town. They don't want any of their secrets getting out. So he told Lucas to get out. And of course, they go into the niece's hospital room, and Lucas is sitting bedside talking to her. The sheriff is none too happy. The mother thanks him and gives him like this big hug, and then remarks, "Ooh, you're kind of ripe," which is the funny part. Apparently this guy hasn't had a shower in months, just hiking cross country. And a lot of stuff goes on in this. The art is, it's good, but it's, it's standard for any modern horror comic. I grew up on the old school horror comics. This is, this definitely has that indie meets Image look. They keep everything like really dark and an odd but interesting palette that, works perfect for this book on colors as well. The writing's excellent. The story is intense, like I said. And I mean, I've only read the first 2 issues, and both issues were very intense. I keep saying that word because they were. The sheriff keeps yelling at Lucas every time he goes to say vampire. We don't say that word. Vampire, 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 vampire. Just to piss off the sheriff. And Lucas finally gets his shower and talks to the girl. The girl gives him like a little kiss on the cheek, and a lot of other really big things go down. And I can't say any more because then I would ruin the entire last half of the book. A lot of what I said was just basically getting caught up from issue 1. And man, if you like horror and you're not reading Scout Comics, you need to be reading Scout Comics. It's not all vampire and werewolf or various other creatures. It's not like all hack slash. There's a whole bunch of different stuff over there. You really need to check them out. And they just got signed to an exclusive deal a couple weeks ago, where this company has rights, like first rights to move forward with anything from animation, TV, and movie properties. So I mean, like I think every major player in the comics field right now has a current deal going. Obviously, Disney owns Marvel, and of course, the evil AT&T owns DC. That's why the HBO Max thing went forward like it did. Image has one. Mark Millar has his own. And it just goes on. Valiant, of course, sadly has DMG. And if you actually bought the Bloodshot movie, bless you. So some of those people might actually get paid. But I didn't think it was good. I thought it was quite bad. A lot of it was the fact that I thought Jason Frank David would have made a much better Bloodshot. And he did in the Bat in the Sun production of Ninjak Kills the Valiant Universe. But moving forward, just about all of them have one. Scout even has an exclusive deal with CBSN, which is the Comic Book Shopping Network. If you don't know what it is, you can search for it on Facebook, because that's where they do all their stuff. It's 10 plus stores, or would be stores. There's a couple of guys that are just sitting on a couch, so I figure they're probably just they might just be like a small store that they just don't have a place to set up in the store, and so they set up on a couch. I don't know. Either way, it's multiple stores, and they all have schedules, so they're pretty much selling in live sales right around the clock. And all of these stores have the opportunity, if they purchase Scout Comics, they get the exclusive variant for every #1 Scout releases. Scout also does something where the first issue from Scout isn't the first appearance of a character. They put out a super limited amount of ash cans with a pre-story. With it's like 50, it's a mini comic, 15 pages, boom. So the ash can is usually the first appearance of the character if the character didn't appear in another book prior. But, so definitely check them out if you're into the variant scene. And other than that, I give Atlantis Wasn't Built for Tourists issue 2, 4 out of 5 stars all the way. Great book. So far, great series. Check it out for yourself. I'll be back with more 5-star reviews coming up. And somebody's calling.